A fire station usually encompasses enough room and adequate space with the ability to deploy services, conduct business throughout the day, hold trainings, many aspects of the day-to-day operations that most people might take for granted we really can't have here.
This town's facilities are severely lacking compared to other communities, especially communities this size. Our garage, which we call it a garage because you can't live in this facility, you can't cook in this facility, you can't do other things like you can in other fire stations. We don't have the resources in here to take care of stuff like our gear. We don't have cleaning facilities for ourselves after we get from a call.
So whenever we do any sort of call that we get stuff on us, carcinogens, bodily fluids, things like that, we don't have the opportunity to get rid of that in here before going into our living quarters. So now all that stuff is being brought inside where we're supposed to be, eating, sleeping.
As far as like cleaning the equipment, during the winter time, we can't clean the trucks inside because we don't have proper drainage. There is no drainage, it doesn't go anywhere. You can't clean your gear here. We have to send it out because we don't have the proper washer and dryer to be able to clean our fire gear. Or even soiled linen from fires or say hazmat incidents, we can't clean them here. You can't just use a normal washer and dryer. As far as cleaning the rest of the gear, like packs and stuff, we have to do it by hand with brushes. We don't have a training room where we can do EMS training. A lot of people seem to think that as firefighters, we don't need a gym in our facility. That's not the case. We're expected to be ready 24/7 for the communities that we work for. And one of the ways is we have to be able to work out, we have to be able to run, train, get cardio. So that way when we do go to an incident that's in your community, we're at our best level.
We're very limited on space. We could just barely have enough room to fit what we have in now. And a lot of the stuff that's in here is, bumper to bumper, which, causes problems in and of itself.
The other aspect of this whole thing back in June of 2023, which was again revisited from two prior engineering reports, one in 2016 and one in 2020, both identified that both buildings for the town are basically deemed, I would say, obsolete. They're not able to withstand and properly house the personnel and the resources to deploy the service. And that's a problem, coupled with the fact that there are structural issues with the building. Just to give you some history on Station 1, was built by volunteers back in the 1960s. I mean, their hard work and their sweat, blood, sweat, and tears went into this building, and it's served us for decades. But at this point, we're now a full-time, fully functioning 24/7 service, which it wasn't back then. The new fire station concept we discussed started a couple years ago, looking into the long-term effect. Because we want a building that's going to last decades, right? At least 40 to 50 years is the milestone for these buildings. And we planned for a 5 double bay apparatus or vehicle area. And thinking ahead, you don't know which direction this town might take with future growth. So to look ahead and not shortchange ourselves, we thought the 5 bay approach was good. We discussed, putting planning and codes into the same building. Obviously with buildings, square footage costs money. So to get the building to where we thought was a good number, we're talking, I think it's 14,000 square feet. It's the minimum of what we need for the long term to move forward with provisions in place. If we needed to expand, we could down the road. So you're talking 4 deep apparatus bays, so you can double it up, so you have a total of 8 parking spots versus the 6 that we have now, which is an improvement. You're talking adequate resources for training and housing, meetings, training facilities, training rooms, decontamination, equipment storage, all of it. All the stuff that this building that we're sitting in lacks. In fact, this building that we're sitting in, the entire footprint, would fit within the apparatus bay of the new fire station. If it gives you any kind of indicator as to how small Station 1 really is versus what we need for space to properly do the job. The cost of the station is $6,960,050. Looking at that, with the cost of the land, which the current asking price is around $3.25, gives us an amount of $7,294,050. If we take $1 million out of the general fund to help offset some of the cost and show that the town is supporting the project. I've also applied for a congressional directed spending grant through the office of Susan Collins for $2.5 million to assist us with the project. That would bring the municipal bond amount down to $3.794, $3,794,050. So to give you kind of a financial overview of this, estimating 30-year term, of an interest rate at 4.64%, which is the current market rate, the annual payment would be $238,289 with a mill rate adjustment of 0.246. So if your home was valued at $300,000, your annual change to your property tax, the increase would be $73.92, or 20 cents per day is what it would cost that homeowner their portion for the new fire station. Assume we don't get the grant and we go straight for the amount minus the $1 million out of general fund. So we'll say, for sake of argument, 7.5 million, that's on the referendum ballot. Take $1 million, you're looking at $6.5 million to be bonded. That amount would yield an annual payment of $408,878. The mill rate adjustment would be 0.423. For a $300,000 home, your annual contribution, your increase in property tax, is $126.83, or 35 cents per day. So while it might seem like a huge shock to the system, it's a lot of money, right? There's no way around it. It's several millions of dollars. Spread out over the term, through the bond, 35 cents a day, worst case, 20 cents a day, best case. Annually, $73.92. Or $126.83. These are all subject to change because we don't know what the market's going to do. The interest rate could drop, it could increase. The town could elect not to bond out and go with a different type of financing to where you can pay it off sooner and save the money long term instead of paying it off in interest. So the debt service would decrease at that point, which would be hugely beneficial to the town. We, by default, firefighters, right, we'll make anything work. You can give us the worst of the worst and the worst conditions, and we will make something of it. But at some point, it's going to stop. Like that can't be the default. If you're going to expect a lot of us to come out and do our jobs, then we need to have the means necessary to do that. The taxpayers are the ultimate person that's going to write the check. They dictate what they get for service. If they want to vote to have lesser service, we will give them the best we can give them. Hands down, no questions asked. But we do need is a chance and proper support to give them realistic service. That's the goal. That's why we're here. We're not here for self-serving issues. We're not here for us. We are here to help the people of this town, plain and simple.